I'm hearing a lot of echo. I'm not sure if I'm the only one.
No, I've got
It
a
looks
little
like
echo
everyone
too.
has a headset, so I don't know. Is anyone called in on the phone? If you are, could you mute yourself?
Matt G's here, but I do have a headset this time.
All right. Good
Hey,
morning, Matt.
man.
Hello.
Hello. This is like a disease almost.
It's totally addictive.
It is spreading, definitely.
Well, it's better that that is spreading than the cold and the flus that are spreading otherwise these days. Okay, so let's see. We are still waiting for some people. So
is Michelle on the phone?
Okay.
no,
Or
I don't
Chang?
think.
You know, I'm gonna try to call in again. It's weird. I can only see David and Michael, and I'm hearing a lot of echo.
All right, yeah.
Give me a
Please
minute.
call in again.
Here comes Chang.
Hey, Rosanna,
Hi,
Chang.
everyone. Can you hear
Good
me?
morning. Yep. Well, at least I can
Great.
hear you. We've had some audio problems apparently this meeting, so we'll
Okay.
see.
I think if everybody can mute unless you're talking, it might help.
Yeah, it's sad that we have to practice these rules, but it's important. So everyone, please mute if you're not talking, and unmute when you're talking. Sounds so simple, but it turns out that it's very hard to remember these things. Okay, I think we should get started because we have a tendency to run over time, and so let's make the most of the time here. So first off, SUMO development update. Ricky, do you want to give us an update?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes. So since Friday, the major thing is since Friday we are serving 50% of the users with Elasticsearch. So
That's 5-0?
yes, 50. And so I guess we're collecting data, and I am looking forward to seeing what it looks like for click-through rate sometime this week.
Okay. Is the echo better, Kadir?
Yeah, I don't hear any echo anymore. But now you're so dark that I can only guess who you are. Whatever.
It's not your day, is it? Maybe it's
Something.
an Apple thing.
No, I'm pretty sure it's a video thing.
Yeah.
But it could be an Apple thing. Who knows? All right. Sorry. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine. I was actually interrupting by asking the question to you, so I'm guilty as charged. Any questions for Ricky on development? And why do I see two Firefox status updates in the agenda? Go ahead, Michael.
So Ricky, can you just, as for people who are new or people who don't know, can you explain so what happens now with search? We're at 50%. What are we testing? And then once it's at 100%, then what are we gonna do?
So so we're switching from Sphinx, which is our old search engine, to Elasticsearch, which is our new, which is supposed to be, better and all that. Obviously, if not, we wouldn't be switching. And we're at 50%, so now we're gonna start collecting metrics on click-through rates and whatever else to sort of compare AV, Sphinx to Elasticsearch, and see if we're at a good spot. And once we determine whether we are at a good spot, then we can think of moving to 100%. But there's other stuff we have to do on our side to support 100%, and that's stuff that we're working on right now. And we also have to make sure that the infrastructure is gonna handle it or if we have to put more hardware or something at it. But that's basically.
And then once we're done with all that, once we're to 100% and the infrastructure is all there, that's when we can start doing things like adding faceted search or instant results or all those kind of cool, crazy things.
that's when
We have
can.
synonym.
Yeah,
One of the
synonyms.
deliverables from Susan is a synonym list that needs to be implemented. So all those things should help as well. Ricky, do you know what the plan is for rerunning the quality analysis that James did?
So,
Do we have to run it again now, or
no, actually,
That's my
James.
question.
No, James did that because we didn't have a compare. So we didn't have both search engines running with user data, and that's why James had to do that on his own. But now that we actually have real KPIs like the click-through rate, we can take that as the measure of quality instead of his manual. I mean, he went through those things manually and determined whether those were good or not things.
It's still worth doing on a regular basis because it gives you an insight into exactly why the KPIs are happening. But we can. I don't want to discuss it on this.
Yep, but I guess since he did that, we haven't changed anything that would affect search results. But I see your point. Like if we start
like after we
doing
do the synonym
tweaks,
rings,
Yeah.
evaluating and seeing how much better it's making us. Just wondered.
Okay. Any other questions for development for Ricky? All right. Thank you, Ricky.
Awesome, no problem.
Cool.
UX. Brom or Crystal?
I'm going to let Brom give the update this week because he's been working really hard.
Yeah.
I have a lot of good stuff to talk about.
So we finished the sitemap test. What is it? We finished the sitemap test actually like 2 Saturdays ago. So it took us about 3 hours to get everything. And I just managed to go through the list and analyze the findings. So some of them are pretty interesting, and because it shows the way that people are navigating through the website. Like, like most people are finding, for example, like one of the notable results are most people are finding what is it, like how to change the search engine information under add-ons and under like the search engine add-ons. So those are not what we expect, right? Because we expect people to like go through the KB articles rather than go through add-ons. So, but at any rate, it's pretty interesting. So results like that will help Susan build the new information architecture because, for example, it tells her that, for example, maybe add-ons and what is it, like information about customization and other topics that might not related and that we think are not related might be related because people are navigating it through that path. So those are just examples of some of my findings, and I'm integrating all of that along with all of the recommendation that Susan has written into a presentation that's going to be due on the 9th, which is this Thursday. So I'm not sure what time it's going to be. So I don't know, Crystal, do you know?
Crystal, you're muted.
I was just looking at the calendar because I don't think I've scheduled it yet, but we need to do it in the morning of Thursday.
Great.
If I can find a... Yeah. I don't think I've scheduled it yet, but I'll find a spot Thursday or Friday so we can all be on call together.
Yeah, so it's something like that. So it's going to be... so we're going to give you guys an update on what we've done up to this point. Along with recommendation, because what we've done up to this point is actually analyzing a lot of data sources, which includes, like the top 1,000 search queries, the top 100 pages that Cheng Wang has provided, and we've also looked at Elena's analysis and other data. So there are lots of these documents that has just been sort of floating about. And what Susan has done is actually integrating them into one really, really, really long Word document. Because the Word document is probably hard to peruse for like mere mortals. Making it into a presentation format is actually a really good introduction because at some point, all of us will probably need to go through it. but if we're given like a primer on like, hey, this is what the document is and this is what it will contain, along with just the important recommendations, then it won't look as scary.
We don't want to
because
snow you
otherwise
guys
it's
with
like
200 pages of documents that we just throw into your faces and go, okay, make something out of that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But I'm just
Very-
amazed that Susan has written 200 pages of analysis about our little SUMO project.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
bigger than I thought. So anyway, so that's what's going to, hopefully the presentation is going to make that shorter and simpler. So when you go through them, you're like, okay, yeah, so I just kind of follow the same structure that Susan is using. So it won't be like a jump or a change or anything like that. So that should be a helpful like primer to actually going into that. So so next steps after that is we're actually going to test the new information architecture that we've developed into TreeJack. So essentially, we're running sort of the same sitemap test that we've run 2 weeks ago, using the new structure that Susan has developed. So that's one. Number two is we're actually running, we're actually asking people to group KB articles and give them categories, like for example, performance, security, privacy, you know, things like that. And we're asking people to group KB articles into categories, and hopefully that will help us come up with a decent categorization scheme for our KB articles. So yeah, so those are like the two big things we're going to be running in the next few, like 2 or 3 weeks or something like that. So that's what's going to happen.
Okay. Great. Thanks for the update. Any questions for Bram? No questions? All right. That's an indication that you're on the right track, but you already knew that. Okay, very good. Thank you. Krista, do you have anything else to add or any updates? All right. So in that case, you're free to go, and I wish you both a fantastic week, and you're welcome to stay too.
I just want to ask Michelle if we can possibly, everybody has an opening on Friday at 9 except for Michelle, and since there are so many of us, finding a spot where we're all available is a little bit tricky. Is it possible?
I think that Michelle is not online, but I could be wrong.
Oh, okay. All right, I can email her.
Yeah, please email her because
Okay.
I don't see her.
I thought I heard her earlier, but I must have hallucinated it. I'm going to hang out on call until 9:30, and then I'll just drop quietly.
Sounds good. Okay, roundtable. So the couple of items added, I don't know who added them. Anyone wants to take the blame?
I didn't add them, but
I'm refreshing.
okay now. Okay, now I have an echo again. I'll try to speak through my echo. So the co-tweet thing is actually something new. We have been using co-tweet before. We've been using co-tweet to experiment with Twitter before we developed our own service. And we kept it running even after we had Army of Awesome.
Kadir froze.
Is that the end of Kadir?
Hello?
Hey, you froze.
Hello,
Can you guys still hear? Okay, but you can hear me now?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, I still have this echo. It's very weird to hear yourself speaking while you are speaking, but okay, so the CodeWeed account was still around, and we still had contributors using the CodeWeed account to help people on Twitter, basically using it as before. But now that that CodeWeed won't be free anymore, I think it's time to pull the plug. And it's going to be moving to a new payment model in 2 weeks. So I would say that I announced it in the forums that we would close that down, and probably by the end of this week we will shut down our account on CodeTweet. If there is anything that speaks against that, please let me know. I asked also community members to tell us if there is any functionality missing on Army of Awesome that they have been using on CodeTweet so far. Nothing that I could see. And if there's nothing else, we will close the account down by the end of this week. That's CodeWeed.
And that was with so many foreign questions deflected by the new homepage. All that are left are really hard questions. Who added this?
I wrote
Is this
that.
a discussion topic or? Oh, it's
No,
okay.
it's a
Clever.
comment. I'm just saying. I think that's a good thing. I mean, I think that's the result of deflecting
that's a good
all
thing.
of the things like how do I set my homepage? Oh, look at the article. Easy. Those are easy things to answer, right? So all that's left is like the stuff where you have to troubleshoot stuff with people, which is hard.
And are there any common themes among those type of questions? Are there any typical information that we? I mean, at this point, we should start to look at the forum and try to identify if there are ways that we can make it more effective by, for example, collecting specific information that we're not collecting. I'm not saying that there are any quick, easy fixes for this. It might be that it's just simply hard troubleshooting work, but it might also be that there are some things that we can do to make it better.
I don't know about you guys, but the majority of things I saw were actually related to Firefox 10. So it might be, I mean, after every update, we have those things where it's really hard to tell whether it was really the Firefox upgrade or whether it was something else. And usually those are totally out of order, like they are not the normal questions that we get. So it might be that was only this week after the release, and next week we will have questions that we can't answer again.
Yeah, it sounded like, or it looked like Cheng was sort of nodding. Do you agree with this?
Yeah, I would say that Firefox 10, there were a lot of things that happened with Firefox 10, which I think made it more difficult on the forums.
But in general, what I saw the day before of 10, so that was the weekend with the new page, it validates with Verdi's observation, basically. In sync, I have like 3 questions, but they were all different to what I'm used to. I mean, it's like the 2 or 3 complicated ones that appear every week, but without the rest of the notes.
Yeah, I think Ibai, you have metrics that showed that the actual number of questions in the forums dropped.
Yeah.
Right.
So
that makes sense.
The thing is that what I was observing on Friday, of looking into the homepage links, basically people start reading through the quick bar. So we have quick and explore. Explore is like the big section in the middle, while the quick is the sidebar. So people basically, the top links are the ones in quick, and we at the bottom of quick we have the need help in big and blinking letters. So people, my read here is that people was going through that, and instead of like looking at anything else, they were going to the forum straight away, and that's why we have that many questions in the past. Now people are taking more time to go to the other areas of the homepage, and I think that's good.
Also, isn't that that kind of basic F scan pattern, right? You go all the way down the left side first, see the help link, so you don't end up doing the across parts. Yes. I don't know. Yeah.
But we have data to validate that.
Yeah.
Basically, it's not that we take a model and we try to fit it. It's like the numbers we're seeing fit that, so that's good.
So, and Michael, now that we're seeing that most of the easy ones are being taken care of by the knowledge base, we should be really cautious watching the new ones to see if there's any candidates for new knowledge base articles out of the stuff that's left over. You know, once we solve something, see if we can turn that into a knowledge base article. And then the ones that are exceptionally difficult, you know, lots of steps to troubleshoot, we may want to flag those. They could be good candidates for Process Wizard or something down the road.
Right.
Those are good candidates for giving feedback to the Firefox team that something is very difficult.
Yes, that was what I was going to say. Also, Crystal, maybe this is a question for you though too. So, like the trade-off between a new article, right, that has a name for the problem and all of that, and clumping, you know, like transitory, you know, this is just a problem in Firefox 10 when you upgrade and it's all solved in the next release kind of things into one article. finding a good balance there from a like keyword browsability thing is something we're figuring out. I don't know. Do you have any ideas or advice about that?
Yeah, no, I was running into the same thing as I was participating in SUMO Day. I was finding an article that was called, Firefox 10 top issues or something to that effect.
Right.
And I knew that it was coming up in search because what I was looking for was contained in that, but I think you're absolutely on the right track that users are much more likely to click on that article if it is named the specific issue. I'm in favor of more articles. I understand that there's a cost of keeping those things maintained, and if we need to build better systems for sort of tracking those kinds of issues so that we clean them up after they're resolved. But I'm always in favor of doing as much as with the staffing that we have. So I understand.
I would agree with that. I think I mean, it might be possible to still make this kind of list of issues related to a specific release, but that would just be links to the individual articles or something like that. It might be, a way to also keep track of these things. So at the end of a release cycle, you can take a look at that meta article, and you can go through all those articles and see.
One of the things that Susan is recommending is having a much more sophisticated use of tags. So we can have tags to keep track of these articles, and then also we will have ways to dynamically generate pages based on the tag. So you can view, we could have a tag that was just like Firefox 10 stuff that came up. Obviously, that's not the right name of the tag, but
I like that.
Then we could point users at that page that has every article that's tagged with that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
it's a good question.
Part of that is then as those things are solved, because many of them like I went through on that latest issues article, I went through the Firefox 9 version of that, and I don't know, 4/5 of it, I put little notes saying, this is solved by upgrading to 10. Just go down, update, please.
Well, that's a great message too.
Actually, that reminds me of something, Crystal, that I wanted to ask you about. On our start page, we currently have, or on any page, we currently don't have a call to participation. Like there is nothing for contributors. Like if you didn't know that SUMO was contributor based, you wouldn't see it anymore unless you're registered.
Right. And I pulled those off because they hadn't been particularly successful, and I want to talk about. There's my beep. I want to talk about some ways that will get much better participation. So right now, you're absolutely right. There's nothing. There's no call. But
we're not losing
we
much. But you're saying we're not losing much in that.
No, we're not losing much, and what we're gaining is clarity on that right-hand side, because there's a lot of important stuff on the right-hand side that we do want users to see. So it was important to clean up that right sidebar. We will be doing some stuff in the new homepage redesign, and I think that looking at the email that we send out to contributors, there's an appeal there, which is good. So there's smarter places to put the appeal, and I think we can see better conversion rates.
And there is the thing that Michelle found out that they get involved. We have tons of people signing every week. It's actually much more than that we have on SUMO with the call to action. So maybe SUMO is not the right to attract super users or contributors, and we should look elsewhere. So I'm looking for your work, Crystal.
I think that I would like to take a look at also at that page to figure out how we can get the message easier out, and how we can set up like easy steps for people to contribute. So I'm definitely going to look at that.
Yeah, I just want to make sure. So I definitely see the value in putting the call on other pages where people are already looking to participate and basically advocate for SUMO there. But I also see the value on putting that on our own side. But I agree the numbers on the right-hand side weren't that good. I just wanted to mention it because you're going to test a new information architecture, and it will be good to also keep that in mind. Just wanted to make sure that you are already okay. Great.
Yep, it is being accounted for. We certainly haven't forgotten it.
Cool.
All right, guys, we should move on.
I'm gonna drop. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Have a great week. There's one more item on the roundtable so far. SUMO report.
Two.
Cheng?
Yeah, so there are two items. Sorry, I just added one. SUMO report really quickly. We are looking for this cycle to recap, or at least I'm looking to recap the progress that we made based on the info in the previous reports, which is performance, and search hijacking and updates. So those three things, I'm going to recap what's been going on to help fix those things and what we can still work on.
So this is desktop Firefox, right?
That's for desktop Firefox. I guess, Ibai, if you have comments about what you're looking to do for your report.
Basically, I'm gonna do something similar. It's gonna focus a lot on UX, something that was already mentioned before, like how the sign-up process is completely broken and people is completely lost for the first time on signing and resetting the account, what I call. So yeah, it's basically a recap, reinforcing the fact that hey, this was mentioned before and it hasn't been fixed and it's not even in the roadmap.
Wait, the sign up for what?
For sync.
For sync?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So the whole setup process plus the once you have an account to set Firefox sync again, that's really broken.
Again, if people could mute yourself when you're not talking, just to increase the bandwidth, because I had some troubles hearing what Ibai said there. Well, I heard you, but it was kind of choppy. It could be a San Francisco thing too. Who knows? All right. Second update: search hijacking. I know that you've been working on this, Cheng.
As I've been working on fixing search hijacking, so the status right now is, I mean, the main team is 3 people, me, Sheila, and Gavin. And we met with UX last week, and we're trying to figure out exactly the experience we want. And then they're going to build this.
Just to take a step back for everyone who is new, which at least includes Rosanna, could you just give a quick update of what this is about and what you're actually, what the problem is and what you're trying to do?
Okay, so the last SUMO report basically said, and this is still going on, which is one of the top issues we're seeing on SUMO is people getting hijacked, which is to say, when you're trying to search Google, you end up going to either a malware site or you don't realize it and you've installed something that gives you Yahoo or Bing, or you don't end up where you want to go when you search. And search is obviously a big thing on the internet in terms of money making, getting more eyeballs. So there's an incentive for malicious players to hijack.
So we're talking about add-ons or software, third-party software that changes the default search strings in Firefox, so that rather than you type something in the awesome bar and you hit enter, normally you would go to a Google search, but in this case you might go to some random, I don't know, Russian search bar or something like that. So that's the definition of search hijacking. And
some of these things are,
the common theme is that the user doesn't know what happened. He's not aware of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry,
well,
Michael.
he definitely doesn't, or he's aware, but he can't prevent it from happening.
Right.
Yeah, some of them are super devious. Even after you remove add-ons and you remove the program, it's changed your preference that you can only change in, about config and stuff. And you have no idea.
Yeah, it doesn't clean up after itself.
Yeah.
Yep. And so what the first phase right now is we're only going to fix that preference, which is the keyword URL preference, and we're only going to fix the kind of the malware ones. In a future version, we're going to try and make it a little bit more user settable and more user visible, but the first phase is to just fix the keyword URL problem, because that's, we think, the majority of it. So what we're working on right now is essentially working on UX, working with UX to figure out what we want that experience to be like, so people aren't scared when they start their browser and see this big warning that says you've been hijacked. But we want to figure out how to phrase it so that people who do legitimately change that value can change it back, or can keep it, and there's a little bit of UX and figuring that stuff out. So that's what's the progress right now. The goal is still to have it in, so within the next 6 weeks to have it land on Nightly. That's kind of what we're working towards.
Yeah, and just for added context, Michael has been working on features in Firefox, added features that can help us be more proactive in terms of supporting users. And this is what Cheng is working on is more of a top issue reported on SUMO, right, and trying to find a fix for that. So it's kind of a it's very similar, but at the same time, the approach to it is very similar. Is that you work closely with UX, you work with developers, you try to get someone to help out. So I think that maybe Michael, you could share some of your battle stories that you've had over the year.
Well, I was just gonna say, if Cheng has the possibility of getting something landed in 6 weeks, he's doing 10 times better than me, because I've been blocked on all fronts. We have one feature creeping along tiny bits, and everything else is off the table because apparently everyone's time on every project is completely allotted, and there's not even a possibility of moving anything forward. I don't understand.
Well, so to be clear, the distinction here is that this is dealing with top issue as reported in our support channels, whereas the feature that you've been working on is not a top issue. It's more of a here's one thing that would help us in our workflow when we're trying to help users for all sorts of problems.
Well, it's
so
not
it's
even
a different...
help us; it's help users. This is broken from a user point of view.
Yeah, but I mean, indirectly that also helps us because hopefully that will reduce the traffic to the forum. But yeah, so I don't know actually. It's going to be interesting to see how different that prioritization works, and if it's a different procedure altogether. But we should never give up the user advocacy part of our focus, which is to try to fix Firefox in all sorts of ways, and it involves lobbying, it involves building strong and close working relationship with developers, with UX, and having clear priorities and clear numbers about how many users are affected by the problem that we're reporting. So we will follow this with interest, Cheng. And thanks for the update. But don't listen to Michael when he says that it's mission impossible.
No. I'm saying I'm amazed. I'm happy. That's a good result. I don't think I can. I was gonna say I don't know that I can help get you any farther along. You seem that's a pretty good result so far.
Find me when we start having code, like to actually push as opposed to.
But and I was mostly joking, Mike. But what I'm saying is, actually, maybe it will make sense for you guys to sync up anyway and talk about different approaches. And maybe you have different approaches, and maybe some of those different approaches are more or less successful. So it might be good for you guys to at least share your stories and figure out what works best. Okay.
Cool. And then I have the next section, I guess. I'm just gonna stay on.
Is there another section? Oh yeah,
on Firefox status
update. Did you have any other roundtable topics before we move on? No? All right. Then, Cheng, the floor is yours again.
Okay. Firefox status updates. You all know that Firefox 10 went out. I almost said 11 again. This happened twice this weekend. Firefox 10 went out this week, or last week, I suppose. We unthrottled Wednesday evening and throttled again on Thursday, just because we didn't get the numbers we wanted to. So there's a checkpoint today. I have a meeting with all of the drivers this afternoon to talk about whether or not we should unthrottle fully. But my kind of secret advance notice is I don't think it's going to happen. And that is, just for the record, it's not out there yet, and I might be wrong, but from what I see right now, I don't think it's going to happen. The big issue that's blocking is there is a major startup crash that we think is used to reproduce only if you did a certain weird Wikipedia thing, and you had certain extensions. But now it seems like it just happens on startup for a lot of people. for no good reason, and so we think it's some combination of extensions. There's a couple reproducible sets of extensions, but not everyone who's had it has those extensions. But either way, it's a lot of people. I think it's like 10,000 so far, and it's been a throttled release, so that's actually a huge number of people. And it looks like it's going to be a chem spill for that, but that's what I know so far, and I will know more this afternoon.
Is this and you're sharing all these updates in the contributor forum too, so that our
I'm
forum.
gonna set. I just typed this up here. I'm gonna also pop this into the contributor forum. I'd like to wait till this afternoon because I don't want to post in the contributor forum that we're not going to release. We're going to chem spill if we're not going to chem spill. Does that make sense?
Right. That makes sense.
So I'm going to wait until I have definitive word on all of these things before I post it.
Yeah. I just want to make sure that this information is not just sort of kept for the record in this meeting. That it's actually something that the rest of the community can make use of.
Hey Cheng,
Right.
If there is any kind of chem spill, is it a candidate for our new add-on hotfix thing?
Oh, maybe. I don't know what the fix for this is. If it's startup crash, it won't be a hot spillable thing.
Yeah.
Because it won't load the add-ons. So that's the question right now: is what exactly is the fix, and if it needs to be fixed, in the code.
Gotcha.
Because. Right. So that's the current status. There are a bunch of other things. There's like 6 other issues there. I don't know if you want me to read them all out, or if you guys just want to read it. But that's all the other stuff that's coming out in Firefox 10 that people are paying a lot of attention to, or I'm personally paying a lot of attention to. But that's all of it.
Okay. Thanks for the update. It's a lot of stuff. It's a long list. Any questions for Cheng? All right. All clear. Metrics.
Yep, I have 2 updates, both regarding the KPI dashboard. So first of all, tomorrow we should get another one up there, the questions responded to within 72 hours. And the SUMO dev team is doing great work, great job. It looks like the week after that we will have the contributor stats up there as well. One heads up, the questions solved in the forums, they skyrocketed when we allowed people to change the status or mark a thread as solved via email. And it might be that is because it is the first link in the email that we send them. So I'm going to file a bug that we change the order of that, and it might be that after that the solved thread percentage will drop.
Yeah, I noticed I almost clicked on that link a couple of times.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So it will drop, but it will be better because we will have real numbers. I mean, it might also be that it doesn't drop because our moderators are already quite good in spotting those things and unmarking them. So, but it might be. Just wanted to give you a heads up on that.
I've done that a couple of times where I see someone's marked their reply that said "thanks" or something as
actually,
a solution.
I unmarked my own solutions a few times. Like people would mark my question as a solution. Yeah, so that's coming up. Other than that, I have a hard time saying whether we have more traffic from the new releases. I mean, it's only been there for 2 days when I looked at the statistics. But as you know, we are up 30% since January because of the new way that WebTrends tracks us. That's about it.
Questions?
The KPI thing, did I see a bug for that being open to non-logged in users in tomorrow's push or something? Is that right?
No, Ricky, correct me if I'm wrong, but that is coming with the push after that, right? That's next week?
Next week. You're muted.
Ricky, we can't hear you.
Sorry. I think I put that in for tomorrow actually because
Oh, all right,
it
cool.
seemed like it's sad that nobody could see it.
Yeah,
Except
definitely.
users. Yeah.
So we are gonna be able to see it tomorrow.
Yeah, I can verify real quick. Let me see.
Yeah, because the other thing that it's on the
Yeah, tomorrow.
on the Nebula.
Cool.
I'm not sure if Michelle is online, but if not, I will speak for her. We were looking for the karma system for, and the thing we asked that week, and we were reading through the wiki, and it has a note about the evaluation of the usefulness of that, and we were wondering what's exactly. Can you give us an?
Iba, I almost didn't hear anything you were saying. You were breaking up all the time.
Oh, really?
Could
Yeah,
anyone
you're still
else?
breaking up.
So I think he was just asking for an update on the karma system because the wiki says it's not useful right now.
Yes.
All right. Actually, Ibai and Michelle, I wanted to talk to you about that. What we have right now is that with the push tomorrow, the action points will move to a place where we can actually manipulate them from the administration interface. Before that, we had to do code pushes. They were actually in code. And as soon as that goes online, we can actually start experimenting with it again. But I was holding off on any further thing until that was actually in there. And I would love to meet with you guys to talk about the future of that feature. Because it can be already useful to us even if the dashboard isn't complete yet, the Karma dashboard. As you know, we have reduced the importance of that in the face of the Q1 goals, which was the KPI dashboard. But even without the Karma dashboard, the Karma system itself is still useful. We just need to be able to experiment with the values, and from tomorrow on, we will be able to do that.
Yes.
So can you guys meet up sometime this week?
Yes.
Sounds like.
Well, better this week because next week will be hard.
So how about you guys set up a time right now? Like, do you know a time that will work?
Yeah. I mean, Kadir, Wednesday to Friday works for me anytime at your convenience.
Wednesday I will take a day off, but Thursday we have the meeting with the presentation. I don't know how long that goes, but maybe Thursday. If
I'm happy to meet at 8 a.m. and I guess that Michelle usually is okay with that too. I don't want to send an email for that.
This is a nightmare for you, Cheng, but the tides are changing.
I'm not in that meeting, so I'm okay with that.
Right.
Let's shoot for Thursday then.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah. Can you send an email Thursday 8 a.m.?
I will try. I will send an invitation for that.
Okay.
All right. Perfect. Knowledge base. Michael.
Working on.
Unmute.
Working on Firefox 11 updates, tracking them there at the link. There's a bunch. Most of them mobile are the big ones. There's, rewrite every mobile article basically, but yep. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
I know you're not Michelle, so you might not have the answer for this, but do you know what's going on with tablets?
Yeah, well, in terms of
how are you going to document that?
Releases, yeah. So I mean, I believe this is the general idea. So Michelle wrote a document just for tablets, like getting started with Firefox on tablets. And the idea is really that is the entirety of the documentation for tablets for now. It has at the bottom of it, here's links to other articles. These are instructions for phones, but the concepts is generally the same, that kind of stuff. Although they'll diverge a lot more after Firefox.
Right, that was my
Firefox 11.
question.
But that's Michelle could correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we're going to continue that strategy, at least for right now, just because. Okay, so Firefox on Android in general is so tiny, and then Firefox on tablets is a much even tinier subset of that. Like full duplication of all of those articles with just the separate things. I mean, I think eventually what we're going to need is some sort of like we're going to need show for tablets or something, some kind of deal.
By the way, I'm not sure if that is generally known, but during the FOSDEM, we had a presentation from the mobile guys, and what they told us was that tablet will eventually also move to the native UI.
Oh yeah, eventually, yeah.
Yeah, that's been part of the plan for a long time.
Just it definitely won't happen for Firefox 11 is the thing.
No.
Yeah.
Actually, that reminds me of one thing that we didn't talk about, FOSDEM. I don't know if you guys want to finish talking about this first, but I would love to hear an update from Rosanna and Kadir about how the FOSDEM event worked out for you.
Are we finished with the discussion about
unless anyone else
tablets?
has any questions, I think that any other questions about it.
All right. Rosanna, do you want to give your impressions of the first FOSDEM that you attended and the first time you saw so many people from the community and from Mozilla?
Well, it was definitely it was great. We met a lot of people, and then you really get the chance to meet many people. It was great meeting Sigi. He's really cool, and he's now in the remote program, so he's gonna help me set up the program with the special interest group for the SUMO team. So I'm gonna be working closely with him, and in general, it was a lot of fun, very interesting talks.
Both of us, by the way, gave talks, lightning talks. First on how to get involved, not necessarily because the FOSDEM has such a hardcore audience. We wanted to have them as Remo contributors, or as part of our Remo team, and to get other people into SUMO. So that's what the talk that Rosanna and I gave focused on, mostly Rosanna. And then I gave a quick update on what we are doing with our software. I mean, it's an amazing software that the SUMO dev team has built over the last 2 years. Lots of people are taking notice, and want to let people know that they can actually use the software, contribute to it if they want to, and it's actually a great software that maybe has fills a need that no other software on the market currently does in this way. So those were our 2 talks. Other than that, I think the FOSDEM is changing a lot. We have more and more people coming to the FOSDEM, but it also means that it's not the community event that it used to be, where you were able to mingle and have all those contacts that you had before. Like, it's getting bigger and bigger. That makes it harder to get together with the crowd that like we did in the years before. And I guess the Mozilla presence will also change next year or the year after that.
Yeah. I posted some links from some photos that I found on Facebook. Me being a Facebook whore, I don't know who where this came from, but it looked like you had a good time on stage.
Other ones definitely interesting. Lightning talks, 2 of them. Yeah.
All right, thanks for the update. So I'm looking at the agenda, and it looks like everything else after knowledge base is completely blank. Is there any other topics for discussion today, or are we actually going to end this meeting before the hour is full? I shouldn't say that, because that's a recipe for it to never happen.
Exactly. Oh, by the way, I have this other big topic that I forgot to say.
Oh, by the way, I have this other big topic, that is chat. No, it's actually a quick one. are we all on the same page that chat is going away? Because if that is the case, we still have to announce that on the blog, and then we are now ready to remove the pages from Kitsune, because there are
Well,
some built-in pages.
well, so what I'm actually still waiting for, and sorry, Cheng, if you actually responded to this and it just disappeared, but I wanted to see if we could identify any changes in the forum traffic, in letters sent to the office, if there was any sort of measurable change since we shut down live chat, because then we could look at that information and we could determine if we're doing the right thing, or if actually what we could determine is, are we seeing any increasing problems as a result of putting live chat on hold, or can we move forward? And I don't think I saw a response from you, Cheng, so that's why I'm putting
I
you on the spot.
didn't actually see your note actually, so I'll respond to that. It's
Okay.
the answer, like off the top of my head right now, is not really. There might be a small increase in letters, but like maybe 1 or 2 more per month than it was before. I don't think chat went up that, or forums went up very much.
Yeah, so if you can take a closer look at that. So essentially my answer to you, Kadir, is that once we have a more definite answer to what the implications were of putting live chat on hold, we should be able to make a decision and make a public announcement about the future of live chat. And then we could start to brainstorm about how we can, what, if anything we could do to make the forum seem and feel more like live chat. There were some nice ideas floating around in the discussion topic thread, so I'd like to sort of keep that discussion going for sure.
Right. All right. I will hold on and wait for further notice then. And that's it.
Perfect. All right. So unless anyone else has any other topics you want to talk about, and I think this is the end of the meeting, which
Woo, we're down to 55
feels
minutes.
like success. I know.
Still
So
in time.
everyone, have a great week. Kick some serious butt, and see you online.
Bye.